to press the magic blue button.
Okay, here we go.
You ready, Sade?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, here we are. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thursday's events for the Diversity and Culture Festival and Multicultural Week here at Ventura College, Oxnard College. I'm so pleased this morning. We have a very special guest that is going to join us. And before we begin our introductions, I just want to remind everybody that you have live captioning available if you click on the live transcript on your Zoom bar. And also we have an area for your Q&A. You can go ahead and post questions that you have, and we will get to them throughout our panel. So today we have Sade Champagne, and I'm so excited to have her here with us. She wears multiple hats. She is a performer, she is an author, she has a podcast, she is a motivational speaker, and she's a veteran of the Diversity and Culture Festival. Barring last year's event that we had to cancel abruptly, she has been with us since the beginning of our festival back in 2016. She has a natural enthusiasm for life and a infectious positivity. And I have seen firsthand, as she has visited my classes and interacted with my students, the lasting impact she has made on their perspectives and their lives. And I have to really say, I can see students' faces as they listen to you and you transform their point of views with your message. So I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Steve Turner, who will talk a little bit more about Sade, and then we can go ahead and get started. So thank you, Steve, and thanks everybody for joining us here this morning.
Well, thank you, Gigi. It is absolutely my pleasure just to be part of this wonderful event. Sade and I met actually one day in the Learning Resource Center. She was meeting a student of mine that were entrepreneurially doing something, and she just had this immediate energy, and I definitely feel her presence when she's around. She just has this ability to bring out and empower and motivate. I'm going to I just wanted to share a quote. This is from Sade. I've never met an ordinary person, and I never will. I have only met extraordinary people who didn't know their worth. And so that's a lot about inclusion and diversity and belonging. And so a lot of what Sade brings is everybody's hopefulness. So with any further ado, my good friend Sade Champagne is going to inspire us. Thank you, Sade, for making it virtual. It's not the same, but we will definitely get what we can. It's all you.
Thank you so much to my dear friends, Gigi and Stephen, for inviting me this morning. I am so glad to be here with you all. First, I want to say good morning to you, wherever you are tuning in. And first, before we're getting started into my presentation today, I want to ask you to take a big, deep breath. One more big, deep breath. I want you to think about the fact and take in the fact that you are alive. You are breathing. This is so huge. Many times we don't even think about these small things, which are actually extraordinary and big things. And I want to encourage you with that truth today. It is a big deal that you are alive, that you are here, that you are well today. And I am so glad that you're here. We are so glad that you're here. And I want to talk to y'all about today, remaining hopeful in uncertain times. Remaining hopeful in uncertain times. And guess what? You're going to find me repeating myself a lot. And you know why? That is because, guess what? It takes 7 times or more of someone hearing something before they actually comprehend and receive the information. 7 times? That's right. think about it. How many times has someone told you their name when you first meet them and you automatically forget their name? You forget about it. And so hearing something repeatedly and multiple times, especially if it's information that's going to benefit you and encourage you, is very powerful and empowering. So first off, remaining hopeful in uncertain times. I want to give you a description of my presentation today. We're going to talk about how to remain hopeful, motivated, and positive during times of uncertainty, how to stay focused on your passions and your mission, and be consistent and persistent when obstacles, discouragement, and setbacks come. Because guess what? They will come. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to keep moving forward and being your best self. So first off, I want to share an announcement with y'all that I only just announced yesterday. I received in the mail the print proof copies of my brand new book, Grace Made, My Journey to Love, Joy, and Healing. Right now, it is available on Amazon as an ebook if you just type it in. And the print edition is going to be available very soon. This is so exciting, and I'm going to talk about this more in my presentation. But this book is almost 16 years in the making. 16 years in the making. And it's been an exciting time to see, because this book is a collection of original poetry, quotes, essays, journal entries, and other literary works. And so it's been exciting, and I'm going to talk about this more in my presentation, but I wanted to share this big news with y'all. All right, so I want to talk to you first share with you a little bit about my story. I originally grew up in Orlando, Florida, and in Orlando, Florida, I've stayed there for the first 14 and a half years of my life, and now I've been living in Ventura County for more than half of my life now. I moved here to Southern California back when Oxnard was mostly just fields, and I was a part of the first full graduating class at Pacifica High School in Oxnard. So shout out to any Pacifica High School Tritons. And so I lived most of my life now here in Southern California, but you can imagine how difficult it was the middle of my freshman year of high school, moving from Orlando to here. And I always knew one day I would end up in Southern California. I just didn't know it was going to happen so young. And I didn't have, as many of you who do know my story or may not, I want to share it with you. I had a lot of odds stacked up against me when I was growing up. I didn't grow up in the best neighborhoods. I grew up around a lot of drugs, around a lot of violence. My life could have easily taken a different path. Also, I was bullied and teased a lot growing up. I didn't always have a lot of confidence or self-esteem. I actually questioned myself a lot and didn't feel encouraged in myself. I didn't feel positive at times about who I was. Even though I had these big dreams, I had these passions that I wanted to walk in and achieve, I didn't know how I was going to get there. And if I looked around me and in my neighborhood, it looked impossible. And so when I moved to California, I really began to see how my family life was falling apart. You know how when you're younger, a lot of things your parents think they can keep from you, even though things don't seem like other kids or what you may think is a healthy home environment. But once we moved here to Southern California, my home life began to fall apart. And it was a very difficult time. And so I really utilized school, and I utilized my performing arts and extracurricular activities to help me to stay focused. Because if not, I was going to just feel like I'm sinking with what's happening in my home. And so I'm so thankful for Pacifica. I'm thankful for my teachers. I'm thankful for my mentors and community who have really helped me to accelerate during that time. And so I knew since I was a young girl that I wanted to do what I'm doing today. I always knew that I wanted to sing. I wanted to dance. I wanted to be a speaker. I remember even lining up my teddy bears across my wall in my room, and I would encourage my teddy bears. I would speak out loud in front of my mirror to myself. I would sing out loud to my teddy bears and perform for them, even though I wouldn't always feel confident in my voice. What's been cool with what we're seeing in society now is you see all different types of people from different backgrounds, which is so cool about this being the diversity festival. You see people from all different backgrounds and walks of life. But when I was growing up, there was only a couple different ways that you can be Black. And guess what? I did not fit the description of what a Black girl should be. I talked different. I acted differently. I thought differently. And so that was definitely what led to a lot of my bullying and what led to me being called all different kinds of names. And I didn't fit the description of what was supposed to be the norm. But what's been cool is now you see so many different types of people from walks of life. And I'm like, man, this would have been great when I was growing up, but better late than never. And so what's been exciting in my dreams and what I love to share with people is nothing in my life has happened overnight. There's nothing that's been for me where, oh, it's 1 + 1 = 2. Let's go. There's been multiple delays, setbacks, challenges, etc., that I've had to overcome. And I want to even share with you, even during this time of the pandemic, last year, when the pandemic started, I was set to go on tour. I was working on new performances and events. I was traveling, speaking and teaching at different schools and different youth programs. I had literally just opened up and started my own performing arts and wellness academy. And literally within a week, everything shut down. Everything. So many things that I have been working on for years and doors that were opening for me, and it all shut down. And so since this pandemic, my career and my dreams have had to revamp and look totally different. But what's also been exciting is during this time of uncertainty, I have actually flourished more than ever. I have seen so many things come to pass. I would have never imagined that one of my radio podcasts, Matters of the Heart, that I created with my best friend, Jeremy A. Watkins, would go on to be turned into a TV show. And I would have never expected that would happen during a pandemic. And so I want to encourage anyone who is feeling uncertain right now, who's going through a difficult time, that there is so much more in store for you. And I want to remind you, if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them with where they shared with you. And I would love to be able to take some time towards the middle and end of my presentation to answer any questions that you may have and see any of your comments. So first off, I'd like to talk about the power of being proactive, self-education, and self-motivation. So first off, the power of being proactive. We actually live in a very phenomenal time in society where we don't have to just wait or see one way that something can come to pass and that we can walk in our dreams and passions. There are multiple ways to get to where you'd like to go. And I know that can be hard to see at times, but once again, how we see life oftentimes is what will affect how we're able to move forward. If you always think to yourself that there's no opportunities, that there's nothing that is there for you, oftentimes that's what will manifest, because that's what we will see. I can't tell you how many times people have been surprised that I've been able to live my dreams and walk in what I do, because they're like, well, you don't come from a lot of money. You don't have these things. You look this way. You don't fit this mold of the entertainment industry. But I'm a firm believer in being proactive. And so when it comes to being proactive, self-education, and self-motivation, I want to encourage you during this time to really, really motivate yourself and believe in who you are. This is a great time within these times of uncertainty, but you can remain hopeful, to be proactive in your dreams and passions. I know for some of you, you're used to being in school online anyway, so this is not a big difference for you. But for those of you who are used to meeting with other students in person, this is a time when you can join Zoom groups with other classmates. This is a time when you can look at other ways for your dream to come to pass. Being proactive. As we all know, our best friend is YouTube University. You can spend there's so many things you can learn on YouTube. There's so many things you can learn on Google, so many things you can learn through your other classmates, through your loved ones. There's an abundance of information, sometimes too much, but an abundance of great information out there. that can help you with your passions and with your dreams. And so one of the things for me, I like to think about each day, what are some of the areas that I want to continue to accelerate and learn in? For me, one of them is singing and speaking in Spanish. So I have a book on my bookshelf where each day I go through my book and I am remembering and rehearsing and saying different Spanish words, different Spanish phrases. I practice my songs that I'm singing in Spanish. And I may not be having an opportunity every single day to utilize those skills, but guess what? I will in the future. The time will come when I'm able to. I've actually been invited to do full singing, speaking, and singing, full speaking, singing, speaking, and performing events, but in Spanish, but I haven't been able to yet because I'm not as fluid, but I will be. And so that's an example of being proactive in that passion. Even if you're not, for example, as a performer, I have only had a handful of live in-person performance, but guess what? I've still been training. I've still been rehearsing. I've been moving forward in my fitness goals and things I'm excited about, just being active. And people are surprised because they're like, well, we're in a pandemic and you're still rehearsing and training. And I say, yeah, because I'm going to be back on stage one day and I don't want to be on stage and out of breath. And not being able to survive a song because I literally have not been training. And so this is a great time to be proactive in your life, to take charge of those things you're passionate about, and not just looking at it from an end goal, but looking at it from what can you be able to do right now to help you to continue to utilize your skills, moving forward in what you're passionate about, learning more with what you're passionate about, and just preparing yourself for where you want to go. I'm going to give you all a second to take any notes. If there's anything that you want to receive from that and meditate on, and while I take a sip of water. All right. Next, I want to talk about building positive daily habits and patterns. Building positive daily habits and patterns. People think that when it comes to building positive habits, a lot of times we look at the finish line, we look at the bigger picture. And I do think that's great at times because oftentimes when you're feeling uncertain, when you're feeling discouraged, we can only see what is happening right now. We can only see what is in front of us. And that can discourage you. That can discourage you if it's like, well, it's going to be this long until I can perform on stage or until this can happen. But guess what? If you take it one day at a time, one step at a time, one moment at a time, building positive daily habits and patterns, not making it something that's so big that you feel overwhelmed, but instead taking small bites and chunks. Everything with my life, even from with my book and anything that I've been able to walk in and achieve, it has been through small daily habits. It has been through small, consistent, and persistent baby steps. So building positive daily habits and patterns. For any of you who struggle with self-esteem, with confidence, with your self-worth, this is a very, very powerful tool to be able to help you. Every day when you're waking up, even if you notice at the start of this presentation, we started with a couple of deep breaths, just an awareness for you to be reminded of the fact that you are alive, that you are here today, that you have breath in your lungs, in your body, that your heart is beating. This is a gift. This is a blessing. It is a miracle. It is amazing. And so when you're starting your day, I want you to be thinking about what are some small positive daily habits and patterns that you can build. Most of the time when I'm working with my students, with my mentees, with my proteges, I talk to them a lot about how are we going to build these particular habits and patterns in order to help you in your dreams and in your passions. Because most of the time they just have this big dream, but they don't know how they're going to get there and what is the best way to move forward in these things. So I want to have us do an exercise with this right now, or an activity on building a positive daily habit and pattern. One of the things you can do for yourself that will be so beneficial is positive affirmations and meditations. Positive affirmations and meditation. I'm going to pull up some of my favorite ones that I want to share with you. So the words that we speak over ourselves is very important. Most of the time we think to ourselves, what is, how do other people talk to us? How do we treat other people? But guess what? How you treat yourself is equally as important, if not more important, than how other people treat you. Because guess who has to be your biggest cheerleader? You. It is imperative that you are your biggest cheerleader and your biggest encourager. And so what I want to do is I want to give us some time to write out some positive affirmations. And if you have your notebook with you, if you have your phone with you, whatever you have, your laptop with you, I want to encourage you. I want to take a couple minutes out, and I'd love for you students to write down some positive daily affirmations and meditations that you can speak over yourself and that you can ponder on each day. So some of mine I'll share with you to help us get started. Some of my affirmations and meditations include, I can start over as many times as I need to each day. I can start over as many times as I need to each day. My mistakes do not define me. My mistakes do not define me. This is a big one. Sade, take it one step and one breath at a time. Sade, take it one step and one breath at a time. And I'll share a couple more. I am still brave and courageous, even when I feel afraid. I am still brave and courageous, even when I feel afraid. And lastly, my fears don't define me. My fears don't define me. So I want to give y'all a couple minutes, and I would like for you to write down or type out some positive affirmations and meditations for yourself that you can begin speaking over your life. It can be anything from the smallest thing to the biggest thing. I want to give you some time. I would love it too, as well. That's exactly what I was going to say, Gigi. I would love it too if you could type some of your responses in the chat. We would love to see what are some positive affirmations that you want to speak over yourself, that you want to meditate on each day. And you never know, another student could be super encouraged and blessed by what you share. And we could read some of those in the chat out loud. Oh, that's good. Be here now. That's good. Mindfulness is huge. We're going to talk about that. It's okay to say, I don't know. That's great too.
Sade, there's one in the Q&A. I can make through today and excel. That's from Lisa Marie joining us.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa Marie. I want to encourage you all to write down, even if you're not doing it today, one day at a time, from Gabrielle. That's great too. I want to encourage you, even if you're not doing it today, or you do it even later on today, throughout this week or weekend, start writing down different positive affirmations and meditations for yourself, especially ones where you have to be very kind to yourself and speak very nicely to you. One of my favorite things is, I always say, to speak to yourself the same way you would speak to someone you love. Speak to yourself the same way you would speak to someone you love. And so I want to encourage you to write down these different positive affirmations, keep them somewhere, and meditations, keep them somewhere that you can see them daily and be able to listen to them. And, even if you record it on a voice memo so you can listen to them and read them out loud, it makes a huge difference, because I feel that's one of the things that really discourages a lot of people is the inner voice. What is the inner voice that they are listening to versus their knowing the truth about who they are? So building positive daily habits and patterns. So we talked about with affirmations and meditations. Also, when I am vulnerable, I am free. That's Diana Russell. When I am vulnerable, I am free. I'm going to write that one down. That's good. I can use that for myself. I'll quote you. When I am vulnerable, I am free. Also, when it comes to building positive daily habits and patterns, how are you taking care of yourself? How are you taking care of your physical self? I know it can be difficult during a pandemic because many people are just trying to survive, but I want to encourage you. Do not allow your physical health and how you take care of yourself to fall to the wayside. And when I talk about your physical self, I'm talking about from the inside out, not the external. I'm talking about from the inside out. So are you drinking enough water each day? Or if you are able to, are you getting enough movement each day? Enjoying nature, going outside for a walk, finding different physical activities that you actually enjoy. One of the things, as we mentioned earlier, through YouTube University, is there's so much free content of different types of health and wellness programs, holistic health programs, and even videos that you can just enjoy and learn how to start building up these different physical activities over time that really help to lower your stress. It helps to build your confidence and self-esteem. As many of you know, it releases positive endorphins and good, happy feelings into your body. And so I want to encourage you during this time, do not allow your physical health and your emotional and mental well-being to fall to the wayside. I want to encourage you. It is important at times to put yourself first and to really invest into you. And I know it can be hard because at times in our society, we feel like, well, if I invest into me, who's going to take care of this person? Who's going to do that? But I want you to know that if you are not taking care of you, you are not going to be able to be your best for others. I'm going to say that again. If you are not taking care of you, there is no way that you will be able to be your best for others. The best thing that we can do for others is to live from the fullness of who we are. I've done both. I've lived my life where I have given everything of me to other people and leaving nothing for me and not taking care of myself. And I just burned out really fast. And then I've lived my life where I have given so much to myself and built up, building up myself from the inside out. And then guess what? Sharing that with others. And it's so much more sustainable. It's so much more sustainable to be able to not only, like I said, to build within myself, but now I can give to others from that place. So I want to encourage you in that. I feel this message is for someone here. You neglect yourself a lot and you put yourself down and to the side a lot. And I want you to encourage you that today that can change. It is so important that you invest into yourself and that you build yourself up and that you know that you are worthy of love. You are worthy of being cherished. The same love that you give to others, you are worthy of receiving that love of yours for yourself. You are worthy of that. And so I want to encourage anyone who has been feeling that they have to just give, and share with others, but never give anything to themselves. So building positive daily habits and patterns. We talked about positive affirmations and meditations. We talked about building different physical activities and wellness activities for yourself. Making sure that you're drinking as much water as possible, making sure if you're able to get outside and enjoy some nature, going for walks, different physical activities, deep breathing. If you're able to, yoga and meditation. There's many different things you can do throughout the day that will be a benefit to you. If you're able to, making sure you eat consistently throughout the day. This is huge. I want to look through the comments, what they said. Monique said, if you want to read that out loud, Gigi, I'd love to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a few comments in the chat.
Yeah, read them. Go ahead.
Monique says, this was something I needed to hear. So we can all relate with the importance of taking care of yourself. You can't take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first, correct? We have Jordan Strayer who says, love yourself and spread the love around to the people that are close to you, like your parents. And I don't know if we read Patricia Lara quotes Winnie the Pooh. You are braver than you believe, smarter than you seem, stronger than you think. And she uses that as an affirmation. And then Viva Hernandez is also agreeing, saying this is also a struggle for her. She always puts herself last. So we're all hearing your message and we can relate. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's huge. And I've even seen it with different friends of mine and family members and loved ones who have had health issues. A lot of that is because of them neglecting themselves, and it wreaks stress on their body, stress on their mind. And it's obviously not good for our mental and emotional health. And so I want to encourage you. And this is another thing. I want you to write this down, is that self-love is not selfish. Self-love is not selfish. Even if you can take 10 minutes of your day just for you to be able to do these things that we've talked about, or whatever ways you want to love on yourself, that will make a huge difference in your life. And you'll find that you'll start doing it more and more. Even people are surprised with me because they're like, man, you give so much of yourself, Sade, to other people. You love people so much. You help so many, charities and let me get a sip of water. Excuse me. You help so many charities and nonprofits, and yet you're in great health and you seem so happy and joyful. But guess what? That's because I spend a lot of time and energy throughout my day investing in myself. I have to. Even before we started this presentation this morning, I did a short yoga and meditation session. I was very intentional about my day. I knew how excited I was to be here with you all. And I think that's important. And even after we finish this, I'm going to eat and I'm going to stretch and take a nap. And so it's very important that you invest into yourself and that you really, really put yourself first. And you're like, oh, Shadi, did you say that? You wouldn't call me. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm not a selfish person. But guess what? I take care of myself a lot and I invest in myself a lot. So I want to encourage you students on that. All right. So I want to continue moving forward in our message today and in our presentation. I want to talk about the power of accountability and having encouragement buddies. The power of accountability and having encouragement buddies. Depending on what kind of environment you've grown up in, if you hear the word accountability, it can be a triggering word for you and you can get upset. But I want to share with you a different perspective of the word accountability. If you notice, I put the words encouragement buddies with that. I believe that accountability has to do more with, Viva says, may I please get the name of your book? Yes, my book is titled Grace Made, My Journey to Love, Joy, and Healing. Thank you, David, for posting the link. So if you notice, I put the words accountability and encouragement buddies together. When I think of the words accountability now, and what it means to me is having people in your life who can remind you of who you are and who can lift you up when you're feeling down, and you can lift each other up. So accountability is great. You want people in your life where if you're not heading down the right track, if they see you not treating yourself well, if they see you allowing yourself to be abused, they can encourage you and remind you of the truth of who you are. I feel that oftentimes especially if you've gone through trauma, if you've gone through a lot of chaos in your life, you can find yourself isolating. And that is one of the most damaging things that we can do as human beings is isolate ourselves. Because what happens in isolation? More discouragement, more distress, more negative thoughts, more all types of things. And so never allow yourself to be isolated from those who love you. You want to allow yourself to be accountable to people who can encourage you. I have so many best friends and loved ones in my life right now that I could text at any given moment, and they can text me as well and call each other. And we can say, hey, I'm having a rough day right now. I'm feeling discouraged in this situation right now. I need to be reminded of the truth. And boom, we're there, right there to encourage each other, remind that person of the truth. And it's been so powerful in my life, having encouragement buddies, having people that can keep me accountable. Because guess what? I don't know everything. Isn't that something to think about? We don't know everything. And there's some people in our lives who can see things coming ahead, or they can see patterns that we're building that are not healthy, and they can help us. That's huge. You want to have accountability, encouragement buddies in your life. You want to have people who remind you of who you are. I love what Diana said. She said that she loved the definition of accountability. I know it's been huge for me too, because growing up in the environments I grew up in, accountability was definitely a negative thing. It's like you meet with your mentor and they're looking at you like, they're running a list down of all these things. Are you doing this? Are you doing this? What are these things you're struggling in? So it's like you feel like you're getting in trouble. But no, accountability is a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. You want people in your life who can help you to stay on the right track, and you can help them to stay on the right track. And even through this time together with other students in your class, you can be each other's encouragement buddies, texting them and say, hey, just checking on you and reminding you that you're amazing. Hey, I want to remind you that I believe in you and you're doing a great job. I do that with my friends all the time, and they tell me how much it encourages them. So having accountability partners and encouragement buddies. I'm going to give y'all a second to soak that in.
Sade, I think Steve was had his hand up. I'm
Sure.
not quite sure. I think we were going to show your video. I don't know if you're ready for that or not yet.
No, I just wanted to plug that into the conversation. There's a lot of things to show and tell with Sade. When that happens, I just wanted to plan that because I know we're going to have a hard out at the 10 till. So just plan accordingly. Thank you. And then again, the survey, if you guys aren't seeing that on the chat, Gigi's definitely going to give you an opportunity for a $20 Amazon gift card if you do the survey. So that's an opportunity. Again, don't hesitate to continue. So that was the only thing I wanted to chime in with.
Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to be finishing up in a couple of minutes anyway, so that way we can show the video and we can leave time for any questions that anyone has. So I'm going to finish up my last point, if that's cool.
Of course. Absolutely.
Great. Thank you so much, Steve. So lastly, I want to talk about, I'm going to fuse these together since our time has been moving so fast, but they say time flies when you're having fun. And I have been having a blast with all of you students today. I feel so blessed and so encouraged to be able to spend my morning with you and for us to be able to have this time together. So I want to talk about looking at the big picture and never underestimating the power of a little consistency and persistence. Looking at the big picture and never underestimating the power of a little consistency and persistence. My life has not been built on big, extraordinary, amazing moments. My life has been built on tiny, mundane, day by day, monotonous moments. My day has been built on the smallest things that other people would not even think are significant. But I want to encourage you that even the smallest things in your life about you are significant. You are significant. And so each day, if you are able to be consistent and persistent in the things that you're passionate about, and guess what? Discipline has less to do with perfection, and it has more to do with consistency and persistence. I'm going to say that again. Discipline has less to do with perfection and more to do with consistency and persistence. I don't achieve or move forward in everything that I desire to each day, but that's okay. I'm still moving more forward than I was yesterday. And so even if it's a baby step, even if it's the smallest thing, I really believe in being consistent and persistent. Even if I jump off the bandwagon, I get back up and you just keep going where you left off. Because oftentimes we can find ourselves beating ourselves up because we're not where we're supposed to be. I should have been here already. And that will discourage you. And that is where a lot of times procrastination comes from. But guess what? If you allow yourself to just continue to be consistent and persistent, looking at the bigger picture of where you're headed, remembering there's so much power in a little, it will really encourage you and it will motivate you. That's one of the things that really motivates me, is knowing that your life is not built on just these extraordinary moments, but it's actually built on much smaller moments. And then lastly, celebrating all of your progress and your forward motion. Celebrating all of your progress and your forward motion. So every day, as you're already building these positive habits and these daily patterns and beginning to move forward in your life, as you are becoming more consistent and persistent, I want to encourage you to celebrate your progress. Don't wait until you get to the finish line to celebrate yourself. Every day you can be celebrating who you are. Every day you can celebrate the breath that's in your lungs. Every day you can celebrate the fact that your heart is still beating, that you are alive. Every day you can celebrate when you decide to study for your classes, when you check in on Zoom for your classes, when you allow a friend to text you or you text them an encouragement buddy, someone who is holding you accountable or you're holding them accountable, when you go for a walk, when you eat a meal, when you drink some water. Literally, from the smallest to the biggest things, you can celebrate all of your progress and your forward motion. We find ourselves oftentimes so destination focused that we can't even enjoy today. We can't even be mindful of this moment and all that we have. And it's been huge for me in my life and in my testimony, is enjoying the right now and celebrating every bit of progress forward, celebrating every victory along the way. That is one of the key ways that you're able to remain hopeful, because what happens is now your brain and your heart and your eyes are starting to see more of the positive and joyful things in your life, as opposed to you seeing how far I have to go. Well, I don't have this. I haven't done this. But instead, you're able to start focusing and you see, oh, there's so much more in me than I thought. I'm doing so much better than I thought. I want you to write that quote down too. This is one of my favorite affirmations. I'm doing so much better than I think that I am. I'm doing so much better than I think that I am. That's a powerful meditation to write down. And I believe it for all of you students. Even the fact that you're here today, you're a part of this festival, this is huge. This is great. This is a huge progress forward. And I'm very proud of all of you students, and I honor you and I celebrate you. And so I want to take some time to show my newest music video. Well, this is definitely my newest music video. My next newest music video is coming out very soon, but this is my song, Celebrate Your Heart. And it's already out on Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, Spotify, Pandora. And it's just one of my favorite songs. And I get so much encouragement from this. And so I want to share this with you all. And then after this, if we have time, I'd love to get some questions and some comments from anyone that'd like to share. All right, this is my music video, Celebrate Your Heart.
Every day is a brand new day, so celebrate your heart. Every way is a brand new way to celebrate your heart. Celebrate the world you see. Be the colors you can be. Radiate in every way. I said celebrate your heart. Every face is a brand new face when you celebrate your heart. Every you makes a brand new me. I said celebrate your heart. Celebrate the world you see. the town in everything. I said celebrate your heart. La 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 la. Celebrate your heart. La 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 la. Celebrate your heart. Celebrate the world you see. Be the colors you can be. Radiate in every way. Said celebrate your heart. Celebrate the world you see. Be the drum that pulses deep. Paint the town and run with me. Celebrate your heart. Celebrate your heart. Celebrate your heart.
Thank you so much. I was seeing some of your comments in there as well. I would love to be able to answer any questions. If we have any time to do that, let me know if we have any time for questions or comments. Thank you everyone so much for your feedback. I know a lot of people tell me they listen to that song every day and it helps to bring them a lot of joy. And I have other songs as well that are available. And maybe if you all could put, if Gigi or Steven or whoever's writing in the comments could put my website down and my social media, you're welcome to stay in touch with me that way. I have a lot of encouraging messages on there too. I want to thank you all so much for having me. If you have any questions or comments that you all would like me to answer, please let me know. And whoever's reading the chats, if you can let me see read the questions for me, that would be great.
All right, so everyone's giving you lots of positivity.
Thank you.
Great song, Sade from Jordan, very positive. Diana says, this makes me smile. Your joy is beautiful.
Thank
Lisa
you.
Marie, Sade, you're amazing and so talented.
Thank you.
And then we have a question. We do have to wrap it up in about a minute, but we do have a question from Diana. What do you say to yourself when you think you might be judged for putting yourself out there?
What I say to myself is I focus more on the people who want to receive what I want to share. I understand that I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. I'm not for them. I'm for the people who want to receive from me. And so that has been really huge for me, because even being in my industry, I get ripped to shreds a few times, but I don't focus on that. I focus on the people that I came to serve and share with. And then everyone else who doesn't want to receive from it, then that's not my problem.
Thank you. You're also getting a comment. Monique says, I love your sweater.
Thank you. Love yourself.
And Viva says, beautiful song. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I'm looking forward to reading your book.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to have been here this morning. And just my final words, obviously, if you have any other additional questions, you can go to my website or contact me on my social media, and I'd love to answer your questions or encourage you. But my final words that I just want to share with everyone is that you are so worthy and valuable. You are so worthy and valuable of the very love that you give to others, to receiving that for yourself. Your life matters. You are supposed to be here, and you are not a mistake. You are a miracle. You are a gift and a joy to this world. And my hope is that you will live from that place and know that it is so much more fulfillment here than believing the worst about yourself. And I want to thank you all so much for having me. I am honored and very humbled for being here at the festival today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sade. Thank you for being here. Thank everybody. Thank you for attending this very inspirational event. And Steve, would you like to wrap it up?
No, I was just gonna say, stay safe, everybody, and remember, we definitely have the rest of the day for celebrating our heart with the Diversity and Culture Festival. So thanks for getting us started. Appreciate you, Sade. Thank you, all attendees, and the survey's still there for us. Thanks.